Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Corina Álvarez, and welcome to our morning podcast. Today, we will be talking about the movie The Wave and how its story links up with totalitarianism. Before we continue, let's welcome today's special guests.
Hi, I'm Acevedo.
I'm Michelle Castro.
I'm María Lucrecia Gómez.
I'm Tatiana Lualdi.
I'm Peñuela.
First, what is totalitarianism? Totalitarianism is a form of government that attempts to assert total control over the lives of its citizens. What do you guys think about this form of government?
It's a pretty wide discussion, really. Forms of government are a hard topic to talk to, and usually you'll find a bump in the road while talking of it. I just think that us humans as a whole should care and try to find freedom while still behaving. I think totalitarianism is a form of modern torture.
I feel that under this system, the state seeks to dominate all the aspects of society by repressing civil liberties and political rights.
The truth is that totalitarianism can be a form of government for today. But even with that, I consider that it's a process of movement with which a people can be formed more than an individual citizen.
I'm completely against totalitarianism because that would be a dictatorship and it's against human rights.
Hannah Arendt said that a totalitarian society is an ideology to try to displace our priors, traditions, and institutions. It's like when the current Venezuelan government tries to normalize the distribution of the black box.
What are your thoughts on what the professor tried to attempt in school with his students? Do you think it should have worked?
He tried giving them a lesson. It was effective at first, but it got out of control. It really simulates how us humans are so fragile to manipulation.
I find his way of teaching interesting but discussed many problems.
I think if the students hadn't taken it so far, the movement the teacher was trying to teach might have worked in a healthier way.
Maybe it could have worked, but things got too far.
I think the students don't understand the class at the beginning. It should be working, but the class takes a back path from the main point.
Now, what is your opinion on the characters of the film?
First, the teacher, he reminds me a lot of a Führer. He's always depicted to be the leader, and the way he handles these kids, it just reeks of corruption. Even one of the male leads commits suicide after being talked into this totalitarian play. At least that's what the teacher calls it at the start of the movie.
Professor Rainer initially showed himself as an opponent of totalitarian and dictatorial movement, but like the students, he gets carried away by the movement of the wave.
Honestly, I think that Caro had a great point when she stood up against the movement that together they were trying to create, because she was the first and one of the only ones to realize what that was really become, being a community that little by little it imposed on the rest, despite the fact that no one had really taken seriously since it was minority against the wave.
Tim is an interesting character, but his story is so sad because he does not have a family, and when the wave started, he found like a family and he was happy till it came to an end, which was something that really upset him. And it all ended up with him taking his own life.
Marco, who is a member of the wave, his character is important because he's still friends with Caro and shows you can be in the both sides.
What do you think about the movement, the third wave? And why do you think it started disaster in their classroom?
The movie was inspired by the social experiment, which they call the third wave, and it shows exactly how the German population could have accepted the actions of the Nazi regime. And these experiments caused some of the students to become radicals and pro of the manipulation they went through. It's fascinating to see how the human mind works, to be honest.
The third wave was a movement that I find interesting because of how it works and how it started. It created a mess because of some students who took the role very seriously and completely forgot that this was all about a class lesson.
I consider that the movement itself is just like what it's observed in real life. A leader who promised a victorious future and a large mass of people following him to see how powerful they are together as an union. This creating this disturbance in the room because the students, not realizing it, want to instill their ideal in order even by force, which lead them directly to dictatorship.
I think that the movement called the third wave it's terrible and it's really problematic.
The movement was just a tool to understand the class title. Problems arose when the students took the dynamic seriously.
Well, folks, that's all the time that we have for today's podcast. We hope you really enjoyed it and learned something new here. Until next time.